If you're using Stripe to collect payment from your customers or clients, I want to show you an integration that you can set up and automate having all of the payments be entered directly into Monday.com. So let's jump in.
Hi, my name is Tara, and I'm a certified Monday.com partner and the founder of Simple Day. My goal is to help you build powerful yet simple workflows with Monday.com. If you need help with a custom implementation, my contact details are in the description below. Let's jump into today's tutorial and make Monday the best part of your week.
This setup that I'm going to show you between Monday.com and Stripe works with a third-party tool called Make.com. There are native integrations between Monday and Stripe. However, for this example, I needed something a little more complex, and that's why we had to use Make.com. If you're working within two different systems like Stripe and Monday, and you want them to talk to each other and transfer data back and forth, I highly recommend that you use a tool like Make.com, or actually just use Make. It is a bit complicated, so if you need help getting something set up, my contact details are in the description below. This setup is based on a client of mine that used Stripe to process all of their payments. They ran a marketing company that did social media marketing. They had a subscription model, so people would sign up for their services and would be billed every month. And they also had one-time payments. People came for one project and then they left. So everyone would process their payments via Stripe. And what would happen is we created a system where all of the payments automatically came into Monday. Now, some of my clients' pain points before we started were the following. Payments were being made and they didn't know about it. Payments were failing and they didn't know about it. They had no idea when customers' next payments were. When payments were failing, customer success didn't know to follow up to actually process the payment, or maybe try to reconvert the person if they stopped paying because they did not want to continue with their services. They also had no idea, without looking at Stripe, like how much money they made per month or month over month. All of these things were important key factors that we needed to take into consideration when setting up this integration. So as you can see here, we have a board of all of the Stripe payments, and each item is a person's name. Now, like I mentioned, some people are on a subscription model and some people have one-time payments. So that information also needs to be taken into account on this board. What we did is set up an integration through Make.com that every single time a payment was made, it automatically showed up on this board. Now there's a catch. What happens if they're an existing client and it's another payment? So what we did is we set up the system that it first searches this board to see if the person exists or not. If they don't exist, it creates them as a new item. If they do exist, it adds the payment as a sub item. Okay. Now you can see here, if you look at these columns, that there is a subscription ID. So each person that's on a subscription has a subscription ID, which is established in Stripe, and it's sent over via Make to this board. So what Make does is every time a subscription comes in, it automatically sends the information there. And then when the second payment comes in, it finds that exact subscription and it matches it to the relevant item and adds a sub item. So essentially what we have is we have a list of one-time payments, and then we have a list of people that are on the reoccurring subscription. Every time a payment comes in, there is a sub item added. So you can see how many times they've paid every single time that they paid. The next thing that we added to this board is also an option for payment failed. As soon as a payment was failed, that was also sent from Stripe to this board, and a notification was sent to the customer success team. The customer success team was then able to contact this client to tell them that something failed, their credit card failed, and they needed to either update the information or fix it. Or if they didn't want to continue with them, then they would try and convert them to continue with them. There also are automations set up for the next payment date because everyone's paying monthly and they want to know when the next date arrives for them to be paid. Now, once you have all of this data already coming into the board from Stripe to Monday, you can easily create dashboards. And dashboards is exactly where my client got the valuable information that they needed. You can see over here that we built out a dashboard for the client based on the data. So the way that it's divided up is you have the today section, and this is basically everything they're expecting today. The total number of expected payments, the actual number and the amount, the total actual payments paid and failed, the total number in terms of payments like the actual dollar value. Here you can see the failed payments today with the status, the amount, again, telling the CS team. And then here you have your expected monthly data. So you have different things like what's your expected monthly reoccurring revenue, how many subscriptions, here, how much was paid for by day per month, the number of people that joined your subscription this month. As you can see by this example, our client was able to receive a clear picture into his business. He was able to understand how many clients he had, how many were on subscriptions, all the payments that came in, how much money they were making on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. This is key data that any company needs to make data-driven decisions. So if you're using Stripe for your payment processing and you're using Monday.com, I highly recommend that you look into some kind of integration to get all of the data that you need in one place.
Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe to receive tips and tricks on how to use Monday.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.